I think I would consider myself half of an introvert and half of an extrovert. And the reason for this is because most days, half of the time, I just feel like not talking to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to have long conversations. And some days I feel like I want to talk to everybody. I feel like I want to be friends with everyone and I want to know what everybody is up to. And so that's why for me it's kind of confusing because it's like every day I'm different. Some days I'm an extrovert, some days I'm an introvert, and I know we have these labels of people being extroverts and introverts, but I feel like for me personally, I don't know if this is the case for many of you guys, but um I like I'm always changing. Like I can't be labeled as one specific thing and have that label for the rest of my life. The way my whole personality works is that depending on the day, depending on how much sleep I got or how I'm feeling in general, that determines if I'm going to be an extrovert or an introvert for the day. And it might sound kind of like silly or just kind of strange that I'm like this, but I'm not really sure why I'm like this as well. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I feel like you guys can because I find that in other people, um, they always kind of go through this as well. Like, sometimes I'll be at work and I'll see people. They'll be super chatty on certain days and just want to talk to everybody, but then on other days, if you do try to talk to them, they're just little bit awkward and they're a little bit like withdrawn and just like they don't want to talk to anybody. And I find the same exact thing within myself. And I'll give you an example of how I feel when I'm an introvert. So let's say, on an average day, let's say, on average, we're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep. But some days I'll end up getting like, 5 or 5.5 hours of sleep, and I'll wake up in the morning and I'm super tired. I'm just exhausted and I don't want to go to work, but of course I have to. And so the entire time that I'm getting ready to go to work in the morning, I'm thinking about the fact that when I get home, I'm just going to pass out and just like go to bed early. And so the entire day at work, I'm just super exhausted and all I want to do is just go home and go to sleep. And then if somebody tries to talk to me, or if, someone regular that I talk to, or one of my friends comes up to me, I'll talk. Obviously, I'll have some conversations, but I'm not fully present. I'm not fully there, and I'm not excited to be at work. And because of that, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to talk to anybody, and I don't want to have any like long conversations about anything. And I also don't feel like talking about anything. Like sometimes people will start talking about sports or start talking about the weather or some other like just random stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have to do anything with this conversation at all. And now on the other hand, if I get enough sleep, if I sorry, let me go back to the introvert example. So I get 5.5 hours of sleep, and because of that, I don't want to socialize with anybody. But then something else that could happen is maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody said something to me in a previous day or whatever, and that kind of affected how I feel on the inside. And because of that, my mood is just a little bit off. Maybe I'm feeling sad, maybe I'm feeling angry. And because I feel that way on that particular day, I'm also going to be an introvert because I just won't feel well emotionally and physically. Um, or I could just, I don't know, maybe I could just have eaten a lot of food the previous day. And because I had a lot of food, my body is more focused on digesting that food instead of putting all that energy into my mind and into being an extrovert. So those are kind of the reasons why I'll be an introvert, half the time. But then on the other hand, if I get a full 8 hours of sleep or 7, 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep, and I didn't eat a whole lot the previous day, and nobody said anything bad to me, or I'm not saying anything bad to myself, and let's say I feel positive and just happy in general, then when I go to work or do anything in general, I'm gonna want to socialize. I'm gonna want to make new friends. I'm gonna want to talk to people, and I'll just have more energy in general, just to initiate those conversations and say hi to people and say what's up and just ask how their life is going. And those days I feel really happy because I'm like, well, shit, if I'm like this all the time, life could be amazing. I can meet so many different people, have so many different connections. But of course, I'm not an extrovert every single day. It fluctuates, it goes up and down. So that's why I think, I'm a mix between an extrovert and an introvert. I'm not one or the other, kind of a mix of both. And yeah, so I don't really know why this happens. Like, of course, it's like, you it depends on how much sleep you get and how tired or how energetic you are. But I just wish that I wish I was one way all the time. I just hate being a certain way on some days and then being introvert on other days. Um, yeah, I just wish I was everything was just constant. But of course, it's not. That's not how life works. But yeah, I don't know. And let me think of what else I wanted to say. I guess something else that kind of throws me off on those days that I'm an introvert is the fact that I become super aware of what everybody else is thinking about and how everybody else is just kind of just playing this fake role in their lives. And what I mean by this is on the days that I'm an introvert, sometimes I'll be having a conversation with somebody and for some reason I can just see like their true intentions. I can see the fact that while I'm talking to this person, in their head they're just thinking about something completely different or they're thinking about what they want to say instead of actually listening to the conversation that I'm having with them. So instead of listening to what I'm saying, they're just thinking about the fact that, oh, this is what I'm going to say next, and they're just thinking something completely different in their head. And it always feels like at work, especially when I talk to certain people, they always just want to one up me. They always want to become better than me or better than everybody else. And it shows, it shows that they have a lot of ego inside of themselves. And it's like most conversations at work, like, are just fake. People will just talk about the most like weirdest stuff ever, or they'll kind of talk in a way as if like they're in a TV show. Like for example, at work, I'll go to work in the morning and I'll talk to somebody or say hi, and then they'll be like, "Oh, how's your morning, man? How's your morning going? Or how was your night going?" And I'll say, "Yeah, it was good. I'm a bit tired." And they'll say something like, "Oh, you're tired? Aw, poor guy. Aw, like you should have gotten more sleep last night, Do you want me to get you some coffee? Would that make you feel better?" And just the way that they say those things, I'm just like, I can't believe it because I can't do that. I don't have the ability to tell somebody, "Oh, you poor thing, should I get some coffee for you? You didn't get enough sleep last night. Oh, you poor little baby." It's like, how do people even say this stuff? How do people even like have the ability to or like have just like the feeling of just saying this type of stuff? It's like we're not in some movie, we're not in some TV show that where you have to talk this way. And when I hear people talking this way, I'm just like, man, like how are you guys doing this stuff? Like, don't you guys just get exhausted by just talking this way? And it kind of annoys me and just kind of makes me a little bit mad, but it is what it is. Some days I'm an introvert, some days I'm an extrovert, and that's it for the video. I just feel like I'm just talking just straight from nothing. Yeah, peace out.